Hello and welcome to GSF Podcasts, sponsored by the Gary Sinise Foundation's Education and Outreach Initiative, aiming to educate the public on the importance of serving America's veterans, first responders, and their families.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Gary Sinise Foundation podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Kampsnyder, and today I am sitting with U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Joe Bowser, a dear friend of Gary. Joe is a decorated combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient, and a true example of Army grit. He re-enlisted in the Army after the attacks of September 11th and was sent to Iraq in 2004 in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
I'm so glad for you to be here. Thank you so much for making the trip and spending the time with me. Okay, so you were honorably discharged from the Army, and then 8 years later, you re-enlisted. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I actually joined in 1980 and was on active duty for 3 years, and then I did 9 years in reserve.
Okay.
And got out in 96, and then there was that break. And then, yes, after 9/11, I went back in October of 03 and got into a unit there in Kentucky.
You just couldn't stand by.
No, it's like, it's like I told my kids I would rather fight them there than fight them here.
You were going to go out there.
Yeah.
That was your mission. Oh, and for your babies.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. Why the Army?
I don't know, I always wanted to be in the Army. I was actually in an orphanage for about 5 years, and during that time Vietnam was going on. So those guys were always my heroes. And then I had two of my uncles were Vietnam vets, and so I always looked up to them and knew I always wanted to join the military, and the Army was always the first in my mind.
Always the one.
Yeah.
The uniform or the cool, helicopters, who knows? I get it. Okay, so let's fast forward to the night in Iraq that you were injured. Can you tell us about that night of the attack?
Yeah, we did the mission for the day. My job over there in Iraq, we hauled fuel.
Okay.
So not really thinking that I'm driving a bomb, but
essentially
it was. Yeah. Especially when it was empty, because there's more, combustion in there than there is when it's full.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, you know how hot it was over in Iraq. So when we go to fuel up again, you pop the lids to put the fuel in it, and those lids would, So there was a lot of buildup in pressure. So my little battle buddy, Virginia Wong, she was 18 years old. And on April 11th, which was her birthday, that was Easter Sunday, which Sundays were the only days I asked to get off so I could go to church. And she wasn't big on that, but I said, well, you're my battle buddy. If I'm going, you're going. So we went to church together, and then the next day was April 12th. We did the mission for the day, came back, and we would either take a shower and then go to shower or vice versa. And that day we just happened to take a shower. And there was 4 of us. We were walking all the way to Chow, which was probably about a mile away. And we talk about home and, you know, how everything was going. And I decided I was going to check on my kids. And so they went to DFAC 1, and I went up to the phone tents, called home, checked on the kids. And as I was coming out of the tent where the phones were, I heard this round, and I said, well, it must be about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And I looked at my watch to see if I was right. And then by the time I put my arm down, I heard a just that quick. And, you know, it's like I knew what had happened, but I couldn't believe it. You know, and I went from screaming because I was in pain and was confused, and I felt my left arm doing something like this, like up in the air. And when I did, I could see all the dirt and debris coming back down to earth, so I closed my eyes so I wouldn't get in my eyes. You know, and I started thinking about, like, you know, how am I going to tell my kids what just happened? And then I said, well, I got to get back to my guys, you know. And so I didn't know it at the time, but on my right leg, in the back, like on Black Hawk Down, where the guy's bleeding out, you know, well, I was doing the same thing. And this physician assistant saw I was bleeding out and had them put me back down because they said, he told me later, he said I would have never made it across the compound. I bled out.
Oh, man.
And so when they put me down, I'll never forget, there was these 2 girls, and I don't know what rank they are, what they look like, or nothing else, because I had my eyes closed, and they were cutting my clothes off, and they took my weapon, and as they like peeled my pants back off of me, another round came in, and then they laid over me to protect me. Sorry.
No. They laid over you to protect you.
Yep. And my only regret is not seeing who they were. So, but anyways, so they loaded.
What would you tell them?
Oh my God, I couldn't. I just hug them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a long one like we gave each other today.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so tell me what happened next.
So they loaded me up in a Humvee, and I guess the good thing is, like, where this all happened was in front of the PX, and then right across from the PX was this clinic. So all the medics were right there, so it was really close. But the hospital then, of course, on the other side of the compound. And I found out later that second round that came in, again, the Angels looking out, it didn't go off, but apparently my ambulance driver was so good that he ran over it.
Oh, no.
And it didn't go off.
Oh, thank goodness.
It was like, golly.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, I heard that later in a report from one of the guys. So. But, yeah, they operated on me there in Balad, and then I think it was about like 4 o'clock in the morning, flew out. They were flying me to Landstuhl, and I only remember waking up for a brief moment when we were in the plane.
Were you conscious, though, from them transporting you
yeah.
there to getting to the plane?
I went out when they hit me with morphine, when they stuck me in the back of the Humvee.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, everything else I remember. And the reason my hand did this weird thing is a piece went through here and came out here and it nicked the nerve.
Oh.
So I got some nerve damage in his hand, and that's what caused that to do that. But yeah, I'll never forget being in a plane, you know, and they say, yeah, we're sending you to Germany. And I remember the engines revving up and getting ready to, you know, taxi down the runway.
Goodness.
And all I could think of was, man, I hope we don't get hit by an RPG, you know. And we took off, and I don't remember landing until, I guess they were taking me into the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And then I thought it was really strange when I got there to launch stool, because they gave us paperwork and says, here, we need you to sign this because you're going back into surgery. And I'm thinking, God, I could barely see the pages, let alone sign it. So yeah, I went back in for surgery, and then spent about a week there. And then they flew me to Walter Reed. I got to Walter Reed on April 19th. While I was in the plane, I don't know if you know Melissa Stockwell, but she's a Paralympian, a 2-time, and she was laying right next to me, and she still had her leg, and I still had my leg, and I had like 2 IVs and one on each side of my neck, and she was over there just in pain, and all I could see was her husband over there with this Gatorade that I just dying to get a drink of.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, we both stay in touch to this day.
Look at that. How crazy. Going on the same plane, same injuries, well, with same essentials.
Yeah, she was.
Wow.
She actually lost hers above the knee and then mine below.
Yeah. So it was still intact at this point?
Yeah, it was still in. The backside of my body got riddled with shrapnel. I know that one of my guys, I think it was Steve Press, told me that when I was in Balad, that I guess they had all my clothes off or something, and he said I had 2 big bruises on my back, so where the shrapnel, I guess, had hit the body armor. And then...
Thank goodness you were wearing it.
Well, they just changed the rules, like even on post, they wanted you to stay full battle rattle, you know, which of course everybody complained, but I would say it saved my life.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, when I got to, then when I got to Walter Reed, April 19th, April 22nd, they came in, they gave me this option of either salvaging my leg or have it amputated. They said if I tried to salvage it, I'd probably be in pain for the rest of my life, be on, you know, drugs for pain and all, and a brace, because the shrapnel had gone through my calcaneus and out the bottom, so your heel bone.
Oh, gosh.
And I actually asked him, I said, so can't you just replace the calcaneus? And he said, well, let's put it like this. He said, if you could jump out of a window at 10 stories and land on your feet, you might break it in about 3 or 4 places, but yours is shattered. He says, when they would irrigate it, the bone just kept falling out of the bottom.
Oh.
And so they said, or you can have it amputated and do everything you did before. So I said, well, I want to play hockey. So I kind of had it amputated so I could play hockey, but I can't see myself wearing, you know, having a drop foot or no heel. It didn't even make sense to me.
The mobility.
So, right.
You want to be able to actually do something.
Right.
I mean, you had to make the decision yourself, the choice.
Right.
That's a huge decision to make.
The easy part was saying yes. The hard part was when they were pushing you out the door and you knew when you came back it wasn't going to be there. So.
Oh, man.
And then I remember when I first had it amputated, I mean, if you can imagine taking a string or a rope and going from your toes all the way up to, say, the bottom of your knee, and just wrapping it as tight as you can, and with your toes curled up like that, and just keep on wrapping it tighter and tighter and tighter. That's what it felt like after I had it amputated.
Really?
Yeah.
After?
Yeah. And I thought, man, I'm going to be able to feel like this for the rest of my life. I wasn't sure if I could do it.
Oh, man.
You know, but it subsides. It's like during then, I'll never forget, my brother came to visit me, and he sat down on a bed, and I thought, whoa, and I thought he was going to sit on my foot, but of course it wasn't there. Now, when I go to put my prosthetic on, the sensation goes from, the bottom of my stump to when I put my leg on it. It's like I have an idea where my foot is.
Oh, crazy.
So when I drive, I don't have any adaptive equipment. I just use pedals. And even when I volunteer, I'm driving a semi, and I'm shifting gears and everything else, and don't have any issues with it.
Man, your body just kind of has become one with it in a way.
Yeah, it's like you can feel just the slightest little pressure,
Wow.
So.
What would you say was the most challenging part of your healing journey? Was it the physical and mental toughness required, or would you say it was maybe more emotional or even spiritual?
Probably a little both, because as you indicated, I was very old when I went over there.
Please.
I was
Stop. Get out of here.
I was 44.
Although I'm sure they did call you like dad or something. I know the jokes. Or, oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was 44, and all the guys that
These are your babies almost.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, exactly.
They're like your
they're
kids.
Yeah, they're as old as my kids.
Yeah.
But they healed faster than I did. I had a lot of infections, like especially my knee. I always knew, like after I had it amputated, that there was something different, because I could touch my left knee and it was kind of cool, but my right knee had always felt warm, and I never did understand it. And so after all the surgeries, it seems like every time I'd start PT again, my doc would come down there. It was Dr. Gayaski, and he would just look at it and go like that, and I knew I was going back up for surgery again, And
So this is constant.
Yeah, it was just. I remember the last time I went up, I don't know. I guess I just was fed up with it, because, I wasn't able to wear my leg. Well, the longer you go without wearing your leg, you start getting what is where the bone gets real weak, osteoporosis.
Oh man.
And so having that, pushing on it and pumping the blood through there, it helps a lot. And these guys, some of these guys are getting wounded way after me, and they're already up in their legs, and it was a little bit depressing, And then the last time I had to go up there, I'll never forget this. She was our PICC line nurse, and little Filipino lady, and she was up there, and I got my arm out there because she's trying to find a good vein, and she's having a hard time finding it, because with all the antibiotics, all my veins were getting smaller and smaller, and I just was tired of getting poked on, tired of getting cut on.
Kind of fed up a little.
Yeah, it was a bad day that day, But God's helped me through all of it, And without that, I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here talking.
Yeah. What was it for you that kind of kept you pushing forward, even on those hard days? Or was it the people around you?
I think, probably. I felt like I was talking to everybody else, like I was trying to keep them up, And then for me to have a bad day like that, it was like I didn't know where to go from there. I mean, I can't say that I was ready to give up. I mean, but I was getting pretty close to just forgetting it, Being there with all the guys, and gals, we all had something in common, and it's like we're in our own bubble,
right.
Like Eddie Wright, him and I were roommates. We hung out all the time, and I can remember, him and I would joke about like the PTSD stuff, where we were waiting for ours to kick in, But it was like once we left the hospital, like the first time I left, and I went on convalescent leave, and I was just going to see my family with my kids, because I was divorced at the time, so I was just going to see my kids. I was a nervous wreck.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, how how they would take it, I don't know. It was weird. It was like I was going to see somebody for the first time or something. I don't know. It was like, you're going from this bubble to the real world.
Right.
And so I tried to let the other guys know that as well, that, hey, yeah, we're in a nice place here, but the real world
the reality.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. You mentioned Eddie Wright, and you kind of quipped at this, when's our PTS gonna start to kick in? Like, is it today? What's the importance of humor? There seems to be this kind of humor line.
Oh yeah.
And we often tend to cross that line sometimes, but oftentimes.
Well, it's not only that, but it's like, Eddie was a Marine.
Yeah.
I was Army. There's a lot of those guys that, Dan Lasko, he was a Marine. And we'd cut on each other, just like me and you do.
Yeah.
Cut on the branches. But then we even went a step farther. We started picking on your injury. Like, Eddie's got both hands missing, And I'll never forget, one day I said, we're messing around, and I says, hey, let's go outside and play catch. And he goes, oh, way to go. He says, yeah, let's go play some kickball. So it was just...
saying the things that should not be said.
Yeah. So it's all humor. Especially when we get out, like, in the public, it's more to make the other people more comfortable.
We see that,
because
that's very often.
Little kids are the greatest. I will never forget, I was going through the mall one day, and I was on crutch. I didn't have my leg yet. And just crutching along, and this little kid broke away from her mom, and she, 2, 3 years old. She ran over to me, and she saw my stump just hanging down there, and she kind of looked up underneath there and tapped it like that, went back to mom, and she was good.
She just was inquisitive. She wanted to know.
And I tell Michelle all the time, I said, I want to get me a shirt that says my eyes are up here, because the adults, they'll walk past you and they're like cutting their eyes over, like, oh, I'm not really looking to see if his leg's gone, but I know it is, So I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where all the humor comes.
You might as well, try to see the best in it and make it light. Okay, so you continued to serve as the staff assistant to the Secretary of the Army, correct? And so following your retirement.
Yes.
And so
prior to that, at Walter Reed, they had a thing called Operation Warfighter.
Okay.
And what that was, you were allowed to, you still had to do your medical stuff, whether it was PT or going to your doctor's appointment, and then the other half of the day, then you could work in, say, different governments. So when I volunteered, I actually was working for Mr. Wolfowitz when he was the Deputy Secretary of Defense. I had to go back into surgery, so I had left him, went back into surgery, and I worked there 4 hours a day. And then when I got back out, I went and served with the Deputy Secretary again, but this time it was Mr. England, when he was the Secretary of the Navy and then became the SecDef. And I worked with him until I retired, and then got a job working for the Secretary of the Army from 2007 until 2021.
I'm hearing this constant thread of just volunteering. You volunteer, you serve again. You get injured, and you're still in the process of healing, volunteering and serving. And then after you get out, what's the importance of volunteerism?
Well, that's my love language.
Yeah.
If someone gave me $1 million, I would have more fun giving it away than to just go splurge on whatever. My hard thing is taking.
Accepting help?
Yeah. A whole lot.
Your whole life?
My whole life.
Yeah. It's easier to give to people.
Yeah. I like to see the smile on their faces, where I can hopefully make a difference. You know, I mean, I'd give my shirt off my back for anybody.
Yeah.
You know, so
It seems rare now, though, for that.
Yeah, especially nowadays. But I love that. I mean, I just absolutely love it.
Is there a motivation behind that to continue to serve when most people often just, you know, would step away?
I don't know if it's, maybe it's back when I was in the orphanage, you know.
Yeah.
When my family, you know, my parents just pretty much gave us up. There was 3 of us, and I was the oldest, you know, and I always said, like, even with my kids, that they would never go into an orphanage, and I would do anything I could do to make sure that happened. And if I see a need, if I can do it, I'm definitely gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't like to. I really don't like tooting my own horn. But just to give you an example, like Michelle and I, we were in Kentucky, and when we moved, I wanted to get a pickup truck, you know, because right now we're using our Highlander as a pickup truck, and I'd like to have a real pickup truck.
Yeah.
So went to this dealer in Lexington, Kentucky, and while we were there, there was this kid. He was, I don't know, maybe 30, 35, something like that, and he was showing us the vehicle. Well, during that time, he said something about, you know, how he had to move from where he actually lives about 4 or 5 hours away to take this job so he could support his family. And he didn't have this, and he was actually staying at the campground where we were.
Oh, man.
And he was only a few doors down from us. And
What are the odds?
So when we got back, I saw where he was. Well, his van, he needed a tire, so it was up on jacks, and so of course, I mean, my mind's just going, well, I know I can give him a tire. So I said, look, I I just want to bless you with this tire. I said, you know, it's no big deal. I said, that's what everybody's here for, is to help each other, you know, when you're down and out. And so it just, it went from selling a truck to I'm buying him a tire. So, you know, but it made our day.
The good karma on there. Just racking them. That's amazing.
Yeah, so.
It's important, you know, to show up for others. And I think for you, I just see that you do. You're so selfless in your giving and caring. And you do really connect on an emotional level. So I have to ask you, what message do you hope to share with other wounded defenders, or even the general public who has suffered from something catastrophic, and they may feel like their life is over?
I guess I was told, like, there was, like I said, new people come through Walter Reed when they were wounded. Okay. And there was this one girl, she lost her leg, and I went up to her just to introduce myself, you know, and she was still pretty messed up, and so she kind of drew back, and of course I didn't go in at her, I just waited. But later on we talked when she got a whole lot better, and I told her, and there was this other girl, she was a basketball star, and she lost her arm.
Oh, man.
And I'll never forget, we were in PT, and there was a little girl that came in there, she was a high school girl, and wanted to talk to her about basketball. And she was a basketball star. And of course, she lost her arm, so no longer a basketball star.
Right.
And I know she was really depressed about it. I said, look, you know, it can always be worse. And I said, you just have to keep on charging forward with your new normal. Okay. And I said, you can still make a difference. Maybe you can't play basketball, or you can still bounce with one hand, I know. or you could coach,
Mm-hmm.
or there's other things, you know, teach these kids what you learned.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you lost a piece of you, but you still got a brain.
There's still
it
a
still
way
works.
forward.
Yeah.
Interesting. We actually had Tyson Quink on the podcast too, and he was big in football.
Mm.
And then after he gets injured, he went back to coach, and just and so it's really you're just speaking of that same vein. You know, it's not all hope is lost.
No. And it sometimes takes a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. I've always looked at it. It can always be worse.
Okay.
I'm one of those half full, not half empty. You know.
Important.
And I don't know. I guess I've always been like that.
Yeah.
And as you know, I mean, you served. Everybody that has served during this time has volunteered.
Right.
You know, nobody twisted their arm to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was to serve our country. You know, there's not a better country in the world.
Right. It's for the greater good, the
That's
common
right.
good. Yeah. Okay, so as you know, this podcast is in honor of Mac Sinise, Gary's son, who we lost in January of 2024. And while Mac was battling cancer, he rediscovered his passion for music. And it just did something to his spirit. And he had a mission. And for you, that was hockey. And so can you share a little bit about hockey and the USA Warriors ice hockey?
Yeah, I knew that, well, all my physical therapists knew that was one of the things I wanted to do, is get back on the ice.
So did they just like plant it like a carrot almost?
No, it was more confusion because they didn't know. I mean, some of them skated, but to play hockey, that's a whole nother animal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so I really didn't have anybody that I could go to, like, hey, how should I do this? Because what I did is the first try that failed miserably was I took a skate and I had them take my process. I had them take the blade off and then mount it on the bottom of a foot. And so when I went out there to try to skate on it, it was like, it just didn't work very well.
Yeah.
The way the skates are now, what you do is you put them in an oven, get them hot, and then you put them on and tie them real tight, and then it molds to your foot. Well, that's what I did with my prosthetic. So my one leg that I have for playing hockey, that I leave it on there and don't change anything. So I got back out there. It felt amazing just being back on the ice.
What about it though?
I felt like I was kind of getting myself back again.
Right.
You know, like I knew it's going to be a new normal. Like when I see a picture of myself now with two legs, it looks weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's strange. I know it's been 20 years now that I've been an amputee. And so, yeah.
This is you.
Yeah.
And seeing that version is like, whoa.
Yeah,
it's like not
just,
you
it's
almost.
kind of weird, yeah. So now they can't call me knock knees, you know. But yeah, so I got back out there and started skating, and then I heard or I saw something about amputee hockey, and so I thought, well, I'm gonna try out for amputee hockey, and I had to go up to Massachusetts, I think it was. Went up there for the tryouts. Now, everybody in this team is either an amputee or it's a birth defect where they don't have a leg or don't have an arm. And then...
so it's a community.
Right.
They all understand each
and they're
other.
from all over.
Yeah.
And when on amputee hockey, and I don't remember what the numbers are now, but you're either a 1, 2, or a 3. And they put that on your helmet, and I forget what number. Let's say it's 9. There's 5 players out there, and the 5 players that are out there, the numbers on the helmet have to add up to 9. And the reason that is you can't have just all arm amputees, and then the guys can outskate you with 2 legs.
Right.
So
crazy.
yeah. So then
So to keep the even playing field.
right, it keeps it even that
Okay.
way. So the first time I went, I didn't make it, and it was pretty, but it was an eye opener because these guys were really good. There was a bilateral, and I asked him, it was the first time I got to actually.
Can you
talk
explain
to,
what that is?
Oh, both legs.
Both legs, got it. Yep.
So I actually had somebody that I can go up and talk to. Hey, how do you stop like that? Well, it
Because
wasn't.
you have to stop. You're right. You have to get going. You have to do.
Well, this guy, he's a bilateral, and he's doing skate stops. I'm saying, how do you do that? He says, I don't know. He says, I've always done it, because he was one of the birth defects.
Okay.
His legs have always been
This is
like
his
it.
norm.
So he had no nerve damage. He had no, symptoms of, phantom pains or phantom sensations. And so I just kept watching him, like, how does he do it? And so it got to the point to where I could start doing it.
Yeah.
So the following year, I tried out and made the team, and we won the silver that year.
Dang.
Yeah, the Canadians.
Must have been you.
No. But it was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I loved it. And then I guess prior to that, I was still at Walter Reed, and I knew I wanted to try to start a hockey team. And so it wasn't. I don't even know if we had a name back then, but I only got like 5 people to come out. So it came and then went. Because then everybody, once they're getting healed up, then they're going home.
Right.
So you're losing these players, But then years later, somebody else started it up again, and it's just taken off.
Oh, good.
There's teams all over the place. Matter of fact, there was quite a few guys that was on the U.S. sled team.
Right.
That's won the gold past 2 years, 3 years. Some of those guys I knew from Walter Reed.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was very cool.
So
seeing how fast this is taking off.
Would you say hockey is, it's intensely physical. You'd almost say dangerous, right? And would you say that it though helped you heal? It sounds like that's what it's doing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
How so?
It's just getting out there, just getting physical. Like sled. You're gonna have to get on one of those sleds. If you're not,
so
an amputee going in, you'll be an amputee coming out, because those guys they are allowed to check. The stand up, you're not allowed to check.
Oh wow.
There's some bumping and grinding, but you're not actually allowed to just plow into the boards. But in sled hockey, they can.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's
That's what I'm saying.
really physical.
It's so physical, but yet it's doing the almost opposite of what. It's healing these people, healing you.
Yeah, it's like, and it makes you, especially when you're starting out, it makes you trust your prosthetic. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because with me doing crossovers, which is going in a curve.
Okay.
I can do crossovers pretty good going to my left, because I don't know, it's just easier. But if I go to my right and try to do crossovers, I can do them, but they're really sloppy. But I'm using my prosthetic as a pivot.
Right.
So when I cross over, that means all of my weight is on this leg on ice as I'm going on a curve. So, and I'm balancing way up here, not down there. So it's a little tricky.
Oh yeah.
I can take a slap shot from even Ovechkin in my right foot, and it won't even hurt. So
nothing. Just go right on ahead. I like the way that you said that, though, that you build confidence in your prosthetics.
Yeah.
On ice.
Yeah.
In treacherous conditions, it seems. But I guess, what better way? Just dive right in. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you were one of the earliest advocates for veterans struggling with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress. And how did you help the Army understand the importance of these issues?
General Corelli, he was the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, which was a 4-star. And when Walter Reed was closing, we were going over to the Naval Hospital, which became Walter Reed National Military Medical Center.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, big time. There was some issues that the Army was looking at or thinking that they weren't really sure if we were ready for this move, because a lot of the things that were already taken care of, like at Walter Reed, were already in place. But we had to move because of the BRAC, and apparently there was no way of backing out of that, because I'd asked several times. They didn't realize that the war was going to go on this long, and we were going to have that many wounded and that many amputees. Because a lot of the amputees, like Marines and Navy that were amputees over at the Naval Hospital, once they got to where they were stable, they sent them to Walter Reed, because Walter Reed was where they took care of like all of the amputees over there. So I'll never forget, like with General Corelli was a big one on PTSD and taking care of the wounded and stuff like that. And I'll never forget, we had gone over to the Naval Hospital and went and looked at everything, was looking at the doors and how, where all the wounded were going to be coming through. And as we got back in the car heading back to the Pentagon, General Corelli just acted like he was a little confused, like, man, I don't know how we're going to get this all to really work out. And, right now, Walter Reed, we really got it. And so I told him, I said, sir, I said, if you want to know what needs to change over there, get in a wheelchair and you'll see exactly what you need to change. And he actually did that. He did
it. Yeah. What a perspective to share with him too. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, because until you've been there, you don't really realize it. Even going to see even a store. I remember going into the commissary over there at it was a Marine commissary, or not the commissary, what do they call it? Not a PX. You guys call it something else.
We call it like next. Okay. I don't even know. I still call it commissary from my younger days. That's what I always called it, because my dad was Air Force, so that's what we called it all the time.
So
the exchange.
So some of the places that have the clothes racks so close, you couldn't get the wheelchair down through there.
Wow.
So I remember going there with some guys that had legs that would just move the whole rack so I could get my wheelchair through. So yeah, you find out a lot of stuff like that. The PTSD part, I never really thought that I had it. I guess it came to more realization for myself when my wife, I asked Michelle to go with me to the vet center, and they were asking me questions, like, do you have bad dreams? And I said, I don't have any dreams at all that I can know of. And she kind of gave me that look, like, really? And I said, what? She goes, why do you think
Keeping you honest.
Well, she say, why do you think I keep on saying, man, you were really fighting the Taliban last night? And I don't remember it. Loss of memory, short term. I used to remember everything. With Michelle, when we first met, who stands somebody up at church? I did that. To this day, I still don't remember her having that conversation. And I guess what helped me with her is that she was an AW2 advocate, which was Army Wounded Warrior Program, not the project, the nonprofit, where she became one of the advocates, where she worked with all the wounded that came through there. So some of the stuff I was telling her that I was going through, she would hear from these guys and from their spouses. And so it helped her, and then in return helped me.
Look at that.
Yeah.
She was kind of just the conduit.
Right.
And the insight also that you're giving her, she's able to share it. That is really great.
Yeah, because unfortunately there was a lot of families that broke up once they. I remember this one guy that his fiancée came, saw him in his room, turned around and left.
Yeah, we've heard these.
And there was
tragic.
Saw a lot of them, and it's sad.
What's kept you and Michelle so strong?
Handicap parking.
Get out of here. Cut that. No, I'm joking. Michelle is going to, Oh, gosh. Okay. Okay, humor. Huh?
Yeah.
No, but really.
We don't call each other names at all. I've never called her a name. She's never called me a name. I guess when we first got together, when she would tell me, like we get into a fight, and she'd say, well, I can't talk to you right now. Well, coming from my background, the orphanage and all this, it's abandonment.
Oh yeah.
So
triggering.
I want to fix it now. And it's taken me years to just give her time.
Yeah.
But it's worked. I mean, it's like, we're 18 years now.
Wow.
And
congratulations.
she said, and I still like you. I still want to be with you. So, we still have fun.
Good.
I mean, we still, even with this packing and moving right now, we still cut up on each other.
Good.
And have fun.
Yeah.
It's
the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have to ask, when did you meet Gary?
Oh, that was with, and I always say this memorial wrong, but the Disabled American Veterans Memorial.
American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial.
That's it.
Yes.
It was during that.
Okay.
To this day, I don't remember how we started doing it, but I know there was me, Leslie, Gary, Christian
Baggy, yep.
And we were doing like, I don't know if you call it commercial or something about financing that, because I guess you have to have not only finance the memorial, but the taking care of it and everything like that. And I remember that one of the biggest contributors was the woman that her husband owned the Inquirer. And so we did this thing together, and I'll never forget, I think we were picking him up, or maybe he picked us up, but he called me on my phone, and I talked to him, and then that's when I got in the car, I says, hey, Gary, I said, you called my phone. I said, do you want me to delete it? He goes, no, just hang on to it. And so I always hung on to it, and I don't think it's even changed. It's still the same number. And I don't know. He's just been an awesome guy. I mean, I was telling the guys here that I guess I met Gary probably around the same time I met Joe. And that was at the Memorial Day concert.
Right.
And I got wounded April 12th of 2004. And of course, Memorial Day concert was in May. So I was really fresh. And we were at the press club, and they said they wanted me to take a picture with Joe. So I didn't have somebody took my crutches, I got my arm around Joe, and I said, I'm sorry, Joe. I said, I have no idea who you are. And he just busted up, But yeah.
Now you do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then Uncle Willie, and then of course Uncle Jack, just hearing those stories, and Charles Durning, Mac. I mean, it's just like a big family.
It is a big family. Yeah. Can you tell us about the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial, like what that is? Can you share that with our listeners?
That's actually a memorial for people that are still alive.
And that's kind of the key thing.
Yeah, I know,
right
and
there.
it's kind of weird being a memorial when they're still alive, but it just shows what people have gone through, you know, and how they're still going.
The sacrifices of you and your fellow brothers and sisters. And so, such an important memorial. What did it mean to you to be one of its representatives?
It was mind-blowing. I mean, it was like, I didn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
I was honored. I guess it's like you're representing all the other guys that are going through the same thing.
Exactly.
You know, and having that honor is pretty humbling.
Yeah. Okay, so what was it like for you to then find out that you were accepted into the Gary Sinise Foundation home building program and that we're going to be building you a home, or currently building you a home, in fact, for a home that's specially adapted to meet your needs?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, so I actually got invited to go to the, what was it, in Vegas,
the Salute to the Troops.
Salute to the Troops.
Yes, where we bring a bunch of wounded heroes. American Airlines flies them all in. It's just there to get them out of the hospitals,
right?
And even with their spouses or their caregivers, and kind of just be loved on.
Right. And what was even special about that was that with Justin, our son, going through cancer, he I had a friend of mine. He was 10th Special Forces, and I asked him if he would stay with Justin so that Michelle and I could go on this trip. And she hadn't gone nowhere in over 2 years because of taking care of him. And so it just worked out perfectly. And so we went, had a good time.
And Gary does the Lieutenant Dan Ben concert there, yes, every year.
So we got there, we're going there that night actually for the concert. And then they came up to us and said, hey, we want all you guys to come back here and meet Gary. And we thought, oh, that's cool. So we go behind the stage, and we're waiting for Gary to get there, and he comes down through the line and shakes our hands and everything. And he came back to Michelle and I and says, hey, I want you to come back by the trailer. He says, I'd like to catch up. And so I literally thought that we were catching up because
you've been longtime pals.
Well, and Gary would, Gary and I would do a lot of texting where it was, I'd ask him about Mac and how Mac's doing, and then he would ask about Justin. And so he would say when Mac was having a hard time, and then tell him about Justin. And so we got done with all that, and Gary goes, so what about that old house? And as soon as he said that, Michelle starts crying, because that makes everything better, as you can tell. And I was just in shock. I mean, I know we applied, but just to hear those words, I mean, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I've told everybody, like on the build team, if you guys even just put your all heads together and just build a house and said, there it is, how can you say no to that? I mean, we're shocked. We still are. I mean, it's just, it's so life-changing. I mean, I can't say it anymore, and I'll never forget when, when Justin was sick and we're like halfway through it and everything. Michelle told me, she says, if something happens to him, I want to move. And I said, well, you just let me know where, and we'll go. So that's why we picked Tennessee. So because that's one place she wanted to go.
Oh.
So.
Your relationship has been so deep, and the parallelism between you and Gary, and I know he was so grateful to have you also through the long, as you know, tough battle with Mac.
It's losing a child there's nothing like it. I mean, I lost both my parents, you know, your grandparents, but man, to lose a kid, it's just, you know, and it's like seeing Mac in those videos. It's like what you were talking about earlier about the new normal. That was Mac's new normal, you know, playing the harmonica, you know, and just seeing the joy on his face, you know. It was just amazing. I mean, he was an amazing person.
Oh, yeah.
And they were both just cut down way too short, you know.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I guess God needed him more than we did.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I know we're going to see him again.
Absolutely. And he's always around us. Mac was so passionate about this mission, and it was our severely wounded heroes who really helped him in his own battle, and he drew strength from that, you know, and he loved always knowing that our heroes were being taken care of, you know, and that for you to get this house, I just know he's smiling up there, as is Justin. And so, do you have anything that you're really looking forward to for the house?
In the house?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
Specifically?
I love to cook. So.
What's your, oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So when they're doing all the asking, you know, how you want this and this, you know, everybody's looking at Michelle for that. And as soon as they started talking about the kitchen, they were looking at her. I said, no, you need to look over this way. So,
correct yourselves. Oh, I love that.
So yeah, I do.
So you can just see yourself in the kitchen cooking and it being just accessible.
Yeah, that and because what we have now is just, it's not very much room. And it's just, I mean, just seeing the house just in the studs, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
It's going to be life changing.
Yeah.
It's the way it needs to be. Well, we've done the math, and you will be receiving the Gary Sinise Foundation's 100th home. 100th.
That means crazy.
That's how many homes we built for heroes just like you, Joe. How does that feel?
That's incredible. I mean, that's
a big milestone, and it's you.
Yeah. It's, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I wonder if Gary, did he know that? Did he plan that? I wouldn't be surprised, actually. Like, now that I'm like, wait a second, that just actually struck me off. It's going to be you. We cannot wait for that. And it's just going to be incredible.
We are so excited. You have no idea.
Yeah. So knowing all that you know now, what words of encouragement would you give to your younger self?
Encouragement? I guess just stay in the fight and keep going. I try to put my best foot forward. You know?
Keep it light.
Yeah. No, I just, you just keep charging forward.
Yeah, don't give up.
No, never. You know, that's like, I don't know about you, but it's like I've lost more friends after the war than I ever did during the war.
Oh yeah.
And that's depressing. It's hard. I mean, there was friends of mine that I saw on Facebook, you know, and half the time I guess the Facebook just a bunch of phony stuff, because the pictures were looking one way and then the person took their life, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Just be there for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thick or thin.
Thick or thin.
Yep.
Through it all.
Yep.
Yep. Battle. Battle buddy.
Yeah.
Yep. For life. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for coming on the podcast and just sharing your story. You are such an inspiration and such a dear friend to Gary and myself. And just thank you so much for being here. And as we do with every podcast episode, Mac will close out the show.
You've been listening to GSF Podcast, the official podcast of the Gary Sinise Foundation. If you'd like to find out more about what the foundation is up to, or if you'd like to make a donation, please visit GarySiniseFoundation.org. Make sure to tune in next time for more interviews, and thanks for joining us.